From Anshe Sfar Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parshat Pinchas, story of the succession of Moshe, story of Yeshua's ascension to leadership. Today's discussion, in memory of Bernard and Shirley Frisch, sponsored by the son with loving care, Jonathan Frisch. We thank him today. We remember them. May their memories be a blessing. Yehי zichram baruch. In this parsha, we have the waning of the book of Bamidbar, and there God turns to Moshe and he says, "Alei el har avarim hazeh, go to Mount Avarim, and you shall die." And just like your brother Aaron died, you had sinned at the hitting of the rock, and therefore you will go to the next world. That's what God tells Moshe. Now, why is this story of Moshe's death told particularly at this juncture of the story? What just happened? What just happened was that there were these daughters of Tzlafchad who wanted the land of Israel. And they were afraid that as girls they would not inherit the land. They were told that indeed, since there were no brothers, they would inherit the land. Now, so therefore Rashi says, after all, if I merited as Moshe, I got to inherit the land, give the land forth to the daughters of Tzlafchad, maybe the Gzeirah has been nitbatel, maybe the decree against me not to inherit the land for the Jews in Israel has been removed. Maybe now I can come. So God says, no, I still ask you to go to the next world. Or maybe it's after the notion that in this in Parshat Chukat, the Jewish people inherit the land of Transjordan, the land of Reuven and Gad, and therefore he thinks that now that he's come into the land of Reuven and Gad, now that Moshe has been himself involved in conquest, maybe it's not true. He will come to the land of Israel, and God says, no, you must go to the next world. The Tzur Amor, a great Sephardic Spanish-Portuguese commentator, says that there's a juxtaposition of people who love the land. The daughters of Tzlafchad loved the land. They wanted to have a portion of the land like everyone else because they loved Israel. And Moshe too loves and desires to be in Israel, and therefore these two stories are juxtaposed. Moshe requests that there be an ish, there be someone who should be al haida over the Jewish people. And the question is, whom did he expect? Or who does he want? So Rashi suggested it could be that he really wanted his own child to take over. After all, the most beautiful story in the Torah, the succession of Elazar taking over for Aaron. Aaron removes his clothing, gives it his priestly vestments to Elazar, and Elazar becomes the successor, the next Kohen. Maybe Moshe could also have this type of succession. That's what Moshe was hoping for. But Hashem says that, well, I can't give you that, but I can give you someone from your family, says Rashi. That I can give you someone who will stand in front of Elazar. He will not be able to move right or left unless he asks Elazar and the Urim V'Tumim to ask for the opinion of the high priest as to what to do and how to go. Or, as Midrash mentions, that it's his student. After all, Elazar was taught by Moshe, so he's like a student of Moshe. A student is like a child. So that Yeshua will stand before Elazar, and therefore, in that sense, Yeshua will be someone who is connected to a student, or in a way, a child of Moshe. And why is it that he insists that this new leader must stand before Elazar and ask him all his questions that he has? Is it because he wishes to give honor to Moshe or to the Aaron's family? Or, as the Chizkuni says, is it so that Yeshua should not be overly haughty? He should understand that he must move only according to the ritual laws, only according to the Kohen, only according to the Torah, only according to God, so he should not be overly haughty. Now, if God says to him, I want you to go and to die. So when Aaron was told that, he went and he died. How could Moshe have the chutzpah in the middle of his commandment to die to say, wait, I can't die yet. I have to get a leader. The answer is that when it comes to Moshe, most people's normal reaction would be death. They would go into panic. Instead, Moshe is concerned with the Jewish people. Wait, there's one more thing I have to do. I have to find a new leader for the Jewish people. He's worried about the Jewish people. In that sense, Moshe in this book of Bamidbar remarkably almost never dies. He just keeps going and going. He's told to die, but he keeps going. He's going to get involved in the stories of the daughters of Slavchat. He's going to inherit the land and discuss the plan with the sons, with the tribes of Reuven and Gad. He's going to write songs and give blessings. He will not die in this book of Bamidbar at all. And why didn't Moshe know already? Why didn't he know that it would be Yoshua? Why is he so concerned about the next leader? Doesn't he know it's Yoshua? You could say that he wanted his son. And you could also say that Moshe had some hesitation about Yoshua. The two dialogues that are found in the Torah, someone pointed out that these two dialogues are negative. In the story of the Egel, he's disappointed how Yoshua assesses the crowd. In the story of Eldad Umedad, Moshe and Yoshua clash as to their attitude to others. So maybe Moshe had a problem with Yoshua taking over the Jewish people. The third idea is that you don't always recognize who the next leader is. Sometimes the next leader seems to pale in comparison to a seasoned leader. But sometimes he's right in front of your nose. He's right there. Sometimes the solution to many problems is right in front of us. And there it was, Yoshua. Yoshua is the person who's always been in front of him. Yoshua is the man who's always been with you. And therefore, it's obvious that Yoshua must be the one to take over. But in fact, if there was ever any hesitation on Moshe's part for whatever reason about Yoshua's succession, when Moshe gives him the charge, he does so, as Rashi says, with both hands. He gives him the smicha. He's full-heartedly appointing Yoshua to be the next leader. He says over and again, Chazak ve'emat, be strong and grow even stronger. Now, there were those that the Gemara in Baba Basra says who were concerned about the succession of Moshe. Who was concerned? The elders of the generation. Why the elders? Why were they concerned? Well, the younger people said, well, Yoshua doesn't look exactly like Moshe, but, you know, if when Yoshua will grow older, he'll be like Moshe. But the elders were more concerned because they said, we remember Moshe the way he was when he was younger. And Yoshua, he ain't no Moshe. So they were more concerned. But in fact, the truth is, Yiftach Moshe B'doro, Yiftach B'doro, B'Shmuel B'doro, whoever the leader is in your generation, he too is the right man for that generation. And Yoshua surely was able to inherit the land of Israel to the Jewish people. Whether his ultimate legacy was fully fulfilled, his promise of being the next Moshe, so to speak, the reflection of Moshe was ever fulfilled. This is one of the great mysteries of the book of Yoshua. Did he really finish the job? One might suggest that of all the errors of Yoshua, his main error was he failed to do what Moshe did. On his deathbed, he should have said, who's the successor? And indeed, Yoshua has no successor. He's bin nun. That's his main failing, is his lack of children, lack of successor, lack of someone to follow up. If we could all learn this lesson of Moshe, the lesson of being so concerned with others, the lesson of worrying about the future, ro'eh tanolad, to know what's coming next, the lesson of Moshe to understand and appreciate that indeed, despite his greatness, that he could indeed find some successor for him. Thank you for joining us for today's discussion of the succession of Moshe. Join us each week for our discussions of the Parashah. You can find archives of previous discussions. I want to thank Jason Lefkowitz for making today's technical presentation possible. And we thank you again for joining us here at the Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth congregation. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.